Every once in a while, there are perfect setups for insane parabolic moves. We just saw that over the last 2 trading days. I'm going to explain to you how I traded it and how a lot of people within our community traded it coming up. The world of business and finance is a crazy and chaotic place, and I've made it my mission to help you own it. So if you want to see more content such as this as it relates to the stock market or starting your own business, subscribe to this channel and give me a thumbs up. I certainly would appreciate it. And I put out daily content such as this, and I take the day off on Saturday, but hey, everybody needs a day off, right? But the topic today is KRTX, how it ran from $16 all the way up to $152 highs today. And I actually played it very conservatively. I know there's a lot of other folks out there that probably made tens of thousands of dollars on KRTX, and congrats to you. But I can't be too upset about something when I make $1,000 in 10 minutes and, then do it again a second day in a row. So it's just, I don't know. It's an amazing feeling when you can just do something like that 10 minutes out of your day and then go on and be on about the rest of your day. That is the freedom of day trading. That's how you can really set yourself apart from the rest of the 9-to-5 club, is just being able to push a couple buttons a few minutes out of the day and then have the freedom to do whatever it is that you want. Now, why did KRTC run? Well, KRTC came out with a really great catalyst, and I'm going to bring you over here to WeTradeHQ.com. This is my website that I've built with my partner Jake. It's a platform where you can come and learn and grow and become a better trader with other like-minded traders. And it's free. You can come here, you can do your technical analysis, you can chat about it amongst your friends, you can see how a lot of people have been talking about KRTX up to this point. And then you can also check out the news, which is where we're gonna head to first. Now, the news that came out from KRTX yesterday was that they had a positive results on to treat acute psychosis in patients with schizophrenia, that it was successful, their phase 2 trials were successful, and that they're moving on to phase 3, which most of the time usually doesn't result in such a move such as this. Lots of times it's good for a little bit of a pop and then it, fizzles out. This one has been a multi-day run. It's been absolutely monstrous. But to further, elaborate on this news, the results of the phase 2 trial are impressive and encouraging because they indicate that KRXT, if approved, could represent a game-changing therapeutic advance in treatment of patients with schizophrenia. In addition to its novel mechanism, the action of KRXT could be therapeutic option that has the potential to offer robust efficacy devoid of weight gain, metabolic effects, and other side effects. So this is a great step in the right direction, but there's a lot of biopharma type stocks out there that have the same language, that have positive results. And while this is definitely a good thing, absolutely, but we're not through all the trials yet. Usually they have to get through phase 3 and all that good stuff, but that's not the real story here. So why did it run like that off of this news? Like I said, most of the time this news results in some sort of quick pop and then it fizzles out. But this was different, and here is why. So if we go back to WeTradeHQ, we go to the financials, and we look at something called the share structure. So if you're not familiar with that, the share structure is basically the amount of shares that make up this particular stock. They're split up into AS, or authorized shares, OS, which is outstanding shares, and then you have the float. So the float is really kind of the important number as I'm relating it to this example. The float's the amount of shares that are freely traded in the market. You have OS, which some of the shares in the OS or outstanding shares are restricted. You have the AS, which the total amount of shares that could potentially be traded in this particular stock. And really, there was no shares that could be shorted. I don't think anybody was able to find any kind of locates on shorting this stock. And so that is why we've seen such a massive move up. The other scary part about this was that the spread on this, meaning the price on the bid and the ask price, was so wide that this scared a lot of people away, but it also created a lot of FOMO, or fear of missing out, because it just went straight up. Over the last 2 days, all it's done is just gone up from $16 to $152 highs. Where is it going to go from now? Well, I think that there's going to be some questions as to whether or not this is going to continue because of this. Now, again, if we go back over to WeTradeHQ.com and pull up the filings, they recently came out with an S1 filing after hours yesterday, indicating that they were going to do an offering of about 3 million shares. Now, this 3 million shares may not seem like a lot. The float's still very small. Once the shares start, being offered into the float, it's still going to maybe struggle a bit once these shares start to, dump into the float and then become tradable in the open market. We've seen this a lot of times. I've talked about how offerings impact stocks. Remember when we talked about BYND as it was being traded at $240 a share, and then the lockup period, as people knew the lockup period was getting closer, and then once the lockup period expired, shares started dumping into the float. The price of the stock came all the way down into the 70s, and that's where it's sitting right now. And people are disinterested into BYND until that share structure gets cleaned up a little bit. And so that is what could potentially be happening, not on nearly the scale that BYND is, but I think this could potentially be what scares people away. The other thing is that because the share structure is so small, that could result in issues of liquidity when it comes to stuff like this. And I wanted to show an example of the last time something like this happened in a similar situation. And that was with BPTH. So again, if we go over to WeTradeHQ.com and pull up BPTH, you saw that this had a very similar move. It was an amazing multi-day runner that came out with similar news as it related to their developments and the drugs that they were creating. And this had a very similar share structure, and it was actually much smaller share structure than a KRTX. KRTX had 8 million. This one has 2.85 million in the float. At the time, I think it had an even significantly smaller float once that initial run happened, but it came all the way from $3 or $4 and went all the way up to about $74 a share. Absolutely monstrous run was BPTH. But then look at this. People started getting scared. Shares started to come into the float a little bit more, and then it just fizzled out. And now we're back down to about $9.75 a share, all the way up from a $73, $74 high. But that's the catch-22 when trading something that has a share structure so small. When you see something like that and volume starts surging in, the volume there is really what's key. The money that's rolling into a stock that has a small share structure is very important. But once the volume starts to dry up, people start getting scared, they start whacking out of the thing, and then before you know it, the price drops very quickly. And we've seen that already with KRTX. KRTX, like I said, had a $152 high within a matter of seconds. It came all the way down to about the 120s. And you really have to be on your game, or on your A game, when you're trading something like this. Otherwise, you could get seriously burned. And understanding and managing that risk is absolutely key. What you can see here is that with the folks that were in my morning mentorship, I explained to them how crucial managing the risk is when trading every single day of the week. And so they were able to make these kind of numbers within a very short period of time. Now, could they have made more? Could they have made less? Of course, but it all comes down to your own risk tolerance. It all comes down to your own time horizons and what you're looking for when trading a stock, and sticking to the plan. And these folks stuck to their plan, and they made out big. They were very successful. These guys have smaller accounts, guys. This is not something that, people who have huge giant accounts. These are people that have small accounts. They're just starting out, and they're in my morning mentorship every single day, learning and growing, and we celebrate each other's success. So if you want to be a part of that, the links are down in the description below. And this is the kind of scenarios that we go over every single day. It really is an awesome feeling to know the type of impact that I'm making on other people's lives, and that our community is making on other people's lives within that mentorship. And again, like I said, if you want to check it out, the links are down in the description below. You don't have any obligation to do so, but it's there if you feel like you need it. One final thing that I want to point out is that there was a lot of people within our We Trade HQ group that, traditionally trade penny stocks, and they're like, I don't know about this one. This is a little bit too expensive, $16 a share. I don't know if I can afford that. But I think what you really need to understand and kind of wrap your head around, if that's the kind of mentality you have, is think about the percentages and the potential of a move like this. If you're buying at $16, who cares if it's $16 a share and it's not your normal 5, 10, even less than a penny as far as price per share is concerned? Because when you see a move like this, even $1,000 position at $16 a share, it still would have made you a ridiculous amount of money. So one thing that I always try to address with people when they see something that's maybe priced a little bit too high, or especially when they start just starting out, is that try not to pay attention to the price per share as much as the action of that particular stock and the potential for volatility and movement and all that good stuff when it comes to trading. When you see something that has 10, 20, 30% swings, it doesn't necessarily matter what the price per share is. You're looking for that percentage movement. If you can get a 30% move on a $1,000 investment, that's $300. And so if you can consistently do that every day, then all that really kind of adds up. And there's a lot of people within our community that are making $500 to $1,000 a day. That's an easy six-figure income, all before lunchtime. And that's what it's all about, guys, seeking that freedom that day trading offers you so that you can get all your work done in the morning, and then you have the rest of the day to just do whatever it is that you want to do. So if you guys like this video, I certainly would appreciate a thumbs up. If you traded KRTX, I want to hear from you. How well did you do on KRTX? I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there that crushed it, and so I want to hear from you. So leave me some comments down below, and that's going to do it for me, guys. As always, I will see you all before the bell, and B. Smith is out.
And the one thing I reduce it down to is to keep going. There will be times where you'll feel that it's not worth it anymore. Maybe you're not bringing in the revenues you want. Maybe the clients aren't knocking down your door like you want.